食神, thank God, from Yuan Hai Zi Ping, discussing hurting officer, 三观. Hurting officer, such examination is godlike. Hurting officer must be hurt to the extreme, or else it will prosper with the arrival of officer. Then the HO becomes extremely harmful. Hurting officer meeting officer, endless disaster. Hurting officer, located in the man earthly branch, the man commander, matching with the four pillars, matters are still carried out in the hurting officer location, HO being the useful god. Further, during prosperous luck period, considered a noble chart. Day master with hurting officer possesses many abilities, arrogant and proud, considered others not comparable to the serf, disliked by the nobility, feared by the people of low status. During luck period with the arrival of officer, disaster is immeasurable, can be resolved with the help of noblemen, will contract unpleasant disease or become handicapped. Otherwise meet by chance, usually with misfortune, official matters, including litigation or summon. During luck period with control, direct officer with weak wealth considered a contented and enjoyable life. Observe carefully, 100% accurate. Books say, hurting officer, the one that I produce, for yang, meeting yin, for yin, meeting yang, also called qi robber. Resource, if hurt to the extreme, will not leave any behind. Weekday master inauspicious to meet officer star, but not afraid of 7K. For jia, with sin as officer, when Ting fire is prosperous, able to produce earth which represent the wealth. Most inauspicious to meet officer star, serf must be strong. If hurting officer not exhausted with protrusion of direct officer, further with the arrival of direct officer in the luck period, the disaster is indescribable. If the HO is to the extreme in all the pillars, during luck period when day master is prosperous and with resource support, considered noble. If the four pillars with hurting officer exhaust or hurt the direct officer, even if the day master is prosperous, if the wealth is weak, considered a poor life. Meeting HO, additionally, meeting wealth is considered splendid due to wealth producing officer. For hurting officer chart structure, HS, EB, LP or AP not desirable to meet officer. If meeting officer is classified as hurting officer meeting officer, considered as meeting endless disaster. For hurting officer chart structure, only usable with the presence of wealth. The sharp harm of hurting officer, similar to hurting the body with 7 killing, it is very accurate. Year pillar with hurting officer, parents are not complete. Month pillar with hurting officer, siblings are not complete. Day pillar with hurting officer, wife not complete. Hour pillar with hurting officer, children difficult. The rest of HO must be hurt to the extreme. Becomes auspicious, meeting wealth is okay. Light represent disaster associated with fleeing to a far away place. Heavy represent disaster involving punishment due to law. HO encountering a battle, not easy to preserve the life. With hurting officer located in the man earthly branch, with combination in the four pillars, all happening where HO is located during luck period, which makes the Daymaster prosperous, represent a noble chart. Hurting officer person mostly possesses an unyielding, arrogant ability, always feels others not as good. Disliked by people of high status, feared by people of low status. During officer luck period, without the help of wealth, big disaster for the Daymaster. Otherwise, the Daymaster infected with unpleasant disease, which damage, scar the body. Or possibly meet by chance, usually with misfortune, punishment by law. 4 pillars with complete HO, weak DM meeting wealth luck period will become prosperous, considered HO meeting wealth. Observe carefully, 100% accurate. Books say, with officer in the 4 pillars, the disaster is heavy. Without officer in the 4 pillars, the disaster is light. All 4 pillars meeting officer or meeting HO obtain wealth. With strong and rooted wealth becomes rich. With weak, wealth will die. Without wealth in the luck period earthly branch, not usable if protrude in the HS. For Yi Hai Zi Ping, Ding Hai Ken Shi, Ding Daymaster born in the month of Chou. For Ding Daymaster, Ren is the officer. Chou and Shi represent HO originally, but due to Chou being metal store, further supported by the Ken in the HS as wealth, smooth and fortunate during Shen and Yu luck period, unexpectedly died during metal retreating luck period. All hurt the officer star. During officer luck period, endless disaster. Similarly, during annual luck period. HO hurt to the extreme is more splendid, especially not suitable for the hurt to return. This chart category has many changes, must be investigated carefully. Fire Earth HO hurt to the extreme. Metal Water HO likes to meet officer. Wood Fire meeting officer. Officer is prosperous. Earth Metal Go return become officer. Although there exists Water Wood HO category, Wealth Officer both appearing is considered lucky. Can't simply say HO is inauspicious. With control indicate abundant blessing and prosperity. Eating God in the HS with combination in the earthly branch, children and grandchildren fill the screen, relax during old age. Meeting HO category originally is not appropriate. With wealth and no officer is a lucky foundation. Hour, day, month, HO chart with wealth, prosperous luck period is considered extremely noble. HO hurt to the extreme is considered splendid. With HO, disaster will follow. Rely on the competitive personality, meeting punishment and damage the bone, and flesh even more sorrow. HO cannot be referred as inauspicious immediately. Sing DM with Ren Chen is noble in the middle. Born during autumn and winter considered delicate chi. Born during the 4 earth month, the DM is wealthy. Pink fire with strong roots supported by earth, or in Shen month, or in Qian. During metal water period auspicious for fame. With additional fire and earth, the figure is not strong. 子平正前 chart structure. To establish a chart structure, examples from 子平正前 on chart structure establishment. 子平正前 method of chart structure analysis is very comprehensive. Example for Wu, Daymaster born in the month of Yu, representing a hurting officer structure. Herding officer to grow wealth. Changing the inauspicious herding officer to grow wealth, very auspicious. Their master must be strong and rooted, a noble chart. This is the example for Ren Wu, Ji Yu, Wu Wu, and Ken Sen. Their master Xing, born in the month of Hai, which is also the herding officer. Herding officer transformed to wealth. The chart structure is elegant. Example for Jia Zi, Yi Hai, Xing Wei, Wu Zi. The Jia in the HS, rooted in the Hai, combining with Wei to wood formation, transforming the water to wood, transformed to produce wealth, considered affectionate. Ping Day Master, born in the month of Chou. For herding officer and wealth, which are affectionate, similar in elegance compared to herding officer transformed to wealth. Example for Ji Mao, Ding Chou, Bing Yin, Ken Yin. Both Ji and Ken rooted in the monthly branch. For herding officer using resource, the resource can control the herding officer, considered as noble structure. The herding officer must be prosperous. Their master is weak, considered as elegant energy. For Jia, their master born in the month of Wu. Example for Ren Sen, Bing Wu, Jia Wu, Ren Sen. Prosperous herding officer, resource rooted deeply. Their master is weak, wood born in summer, hot weather, with moisture to assist. The elegance is tenfold, a great noble chart structure. For Wu, their master born in the month of Yu. For herding officer structure using wealth and resource. Wealth and resource clashing, originally not usable, as long as the HS are clear and not obstructing. Further growing the wealth, which is prosperous, supported by resource. Protrusion of resource, which is prosperous, together with protrusion of wealth, to mediate, to balance the chart, considered as noble chart structure. Example for Ding Yu, Ji Yu, Wu Zi, Ren Zi. Wu, their master, born in the month of Yu. Wealth too heavy, using resource. Ding and Ren separated by Wu and Ji. Both are not affecting each other. Multiple metal and water making the chart cold in temperature, with fire to warm the chart, taking control of the fate. Example for Ren Xi, Ji Yu, Wu Wu, Ding Si. Prosperous resource separated by Wu and Ji. Ding and Ren not affecting each other. Bazi of a minister. On the other hand, if the wealth and resource are not usable, it is not elegant. Ken, day master, born in the month of Zi. Herding officer applied with killing and resource. Multiple herding officer, weak day master. Depending on killing to grow resource to assist the serf to control the herding officer. Example for Ji Wei, Bing Zi, Ken Zi, Bing Zi. Bing day master, born in the month of Wei. With herding officer and servant killing in the chart, the servant killing is controlled by the herding officer. Both are usable and is favorable, as long as wealth not present in the chart, considered as noble chart structure. Example for Ren Yin, Ding Wei, Bing Yin, Ren Chen. Ken, day master, born in the month of Zi. Herding officer using direct officer. This is only applicable for metal DM born in water month Hai and Zi. Although require wealth and resource to assist, direct officer and herding officer are not to protrude. Example for Wu Shen, Jia Zi, Ken Wu, Ding Chou. Hidden Kui protrude Ding. Wu Jia to assist. Direct officer obtaining Lu, Ling Guan Qi face. However, If the protrusion of direct officer is not being assisted by the wealth or resource, or with the protrusion of direct officer and hurting officer, considered only minor prosperity. Sing Day Master born in the month of Hai. Day Master born in the month of winter using officer, transforming hurting officer to wealth, considered a more superior chart structure. Example for Ping Sen, 一亥 Sing为己亥. Ji Day Master born in the month of Shen, transforming hurting officer to wealth. The hurting officer no longer threatened to harm the direct officer, termed as prosperous wealth producing officer instead of hurting officer meeting officer. Example for 甲子壬申己亥辛为